Welcome to WDD 130. This screencast will address week 2 of the course. So I will be actually mirroring my screen or sharing my screen with you through the Pathway Connect section that I teach. And the only difference that you'll see from my screen and perhaps yours is the color. If you're a Pathway Connect student with my section here that you'll see a left color on the banner and the left margin. Last week I was simply imaging this with my screencast, so you saw blue. I've had some questions regarding that. Don't worry, it just means I'm teaching two different sections of the same class. But welcome. So let's jump into the Pathway Connect section today. And let's go look at modules, and that's how we should be navigating the course. So if you finished week 1, congratulations. You have completed getting started. And to unlock or open week 2, make sure that you mark the completion of each of these exercises. If you finish something, I invite you to click the check mark if indicated to do so. By having every single assignment or unit in a given module checked, it will then unlock the next week, okay? Or it will unlock the content for the following week. I've already received an email this morning concerning this. Everything is unlocked. You just have to go through and say, yes, I've completed, yes, I've completed, yes, I've completed each of those sections. If you don't do that, week 2 planning will remain locked. So please go through, unlock this section for yourself by marking the completion of the previous unit. Now, let's jump to week 2 planning. And I'd like to look at the introduction. Okay, the purpose of this week's content is to continue learning about HTML. We will also be introduced to CSS, cascading style sheets. And it's important that you review some of the key terms and vocabulary for this week. Okay, they are all indicated here. So I encourage you to look at those activities and to complete those. Now I'm going to jump back to modules though, because the bulk of this video is going to be targeting the assignment called site planning. So let's jump right to it. This is worth 20 points, and please take note of your due date. It may differ from what you see on this screencast. Now, this screencast shows the due date is way down here at the bottom, May 2nd. Okay, this is worth 20 points. And for submission, you want to share the website URL for your site plan. And I'll show you at the end of this video how to get that. So let's jump up here. What we need to do is start from the beginning. To create a site plan, we need to go through this critical process. We need to establish our purpose and our goals, our target audience, and from a styling perspective, what typography, what colors, what fonts, what elements will we be including on the website. All of these questions need to be answered and addressed. We've given you a couple examples to look at via family search and via a list apart. And please go look at those sites, and I ask you to think, do these sites accomplish their respective purposes? Are they targeting their audiences in the best way? You can also ask yourself what you like, dislike about these, and in a future discussion, you may address those. And while on the topic of discussion, do you see one for week 2? You will not see a discussion. Okay? Week 2 does not have a discussion. So when you come down here to self-assessment survey, I would answer the affirmative if you're asked about a discussion. That's something we'll have to address with the course designer later. But if you ever see a self-assessment survey that asks about a discussion where there is no discussion published, just answer in the affirmative yes. Okay? You're welcome to reach out to each other, but if there's not a published discussion, you're not required to. You are required to complete everything in each module each week. That is true. But that's a correction we'll have to make an adjustment and just make it the course designer aware of that issue, because I have gotten some emails concerning that. So if you don't see a discussion, there isn't one. So then let's just jump back to site planning, okay? And what we'll do is we'll revisit Glitch to actually edit the siteplan.html file that you see here in step 1. So if you go open Glitch, this is what you should see. It's called siteplan.html. This comes courtesy of the starter code project that we remixed from week 1. So click on siteplan.html, and then you want to click Show next to the code, and it will show you a live preview here of everything we mark up will be reflected here. So essentially, once you've found glitch and you found the file, you simply want to read all of the comments and complete the assignment by following those instructions which are included in the comments. Now, what do I mean by comments? I mean these. You see this right here that I've highlighted? This is a comment. Specifically, line 14 is a comment. It says in the header above, add your name and class number. For example, if you were in section 3, you would put WDD 100.03. So you can look for your section number, usually in the course registration page for BYU Idaho. You will be able to find that. So if mine was section 11, I would simply type section 11. Okay. More specifically, to follow that same syntax, we want to look at the example. And the comment has the example. It's 100 dot and then the section number. Now we're not in 100, we're in WDD 130.11. Okay, so that's what I would do. I also need to change my first name to reflect my name and my last name to reflect my name. And we are building a river rafting website. To be clear, this midterm project that we're doing, it starts right now. Essentially weeks 2 through I think about week 7 or 8, we will be building a river rafting website together. And this site plan should be completed before you do any of the website work. Okay, we need to establish the plan first. So you'll notice the default name is dry ore. If you want to change that later, you can. Okay, but it needs to be around the theme of a river rafting website. Okay, so I'm going to just update my project name with river rafting website, site plan. Name, section number, great. Now the next steps of the assignment ask you to complete the purpose statement. Here's where you need to answer questions, such as what is the purpose of the site? It should develop and clearly define your goals. In a short paragraph, I would like you in at least 100 words to describe your purpose statement. So if you're ready to do that, you want to come to the proper line here in siteplan.html, and you want to type that here right on line 23. Okay, line 23, let's identify our website goals. And then you'll do this in a short paragraph. The same can be said for target audience. We want to target a specific group of individuals. Spell it correctly, shall we? Individuals. Now, this could be people of a certain age. This could be people from a certain background, affiliated with a certain club. You decide. Who is your target audience? Is it tourists? Is it young people? Is it old folks? You need to decide. Who is your website and your business all about? That's who you need to target. If you come on down further in site plan, there's some issues with branding and website logo that need to be addressed. So with branding, we need to establish what logo we'd like to use for the site. Now, you need to have one. Do you need to create it? No. You may actually use one of our dry ore images. So if you scroll down here to 4, we can click on dry ore images, and you're welcome to use any of these for your website. So just to show you how I would do this, I could use the rapids right here, and I could click, or right click, save image as, and then save it somewhere on my desktop where I can find it easily. Once I've done that, all that's left to do to make sure it shows correctly here, where you see the words logo image, that's the alt type I've used. Okay, on line 34, I need to now go find that image. Now I can't just call the image, right? Image, where are you? Where are you? Well, I need to go upload that to my assets folder. So I will click on assets, I will upload the asset here, and I will go find the one that I'd like to use. You can see I've been experimenting with these, and today I'm going to show you Rapids logo by opening and uploading that here to Glitch. Once it's uploaded, you should see it here. You may have to scroll, click on it, copy the URL so that the path is copied, and take note of its dimensions. It's 250 pixels wide and it's 250 pixels high, and it's only 20 kilobits, so it's a very small file size. So that's good. It means it's been optimized for the web and it will load very, very quickly. So again, to return to our work, where do we go? That's correct. We have to click on the siteplan.html file that we were editing. And now it's safe to establish the source for that image file. We want to paste that link in here. Make sure that my alt type is still showing, good. And voila, we see our website logo has been updated. Now for the rest of your assignment, because we just have a few more minutes left of this video, we need to now establish a color palette. Okay, and you'll see that here. Color theory should be explored, and I do encourage you to read up on that. Once you're ready and you've read those links and those facts about color theory, I want you to visit coolors.co and build your color scheme around the target audience. So if you'd like to, you can use a Chrome extension like I do. Okay, if I like this particular yellow in the Pathway Connect iLearn website, I could click on it with this Chrome extension. And I could target this thing we call an hexadecimal code, or hex color. And if I copy that with this Chrome extension I'm using called Color Pick Eyedropper, it's been given access to the site. I can go pick colors from any website, okay, on the internet, and I can incorporate those here on coolors.co. Once you find a color that you like, then you want to lock that color in. So for example, if you see here, I have an ultramarine blue, deep space sparkle, azure, tea green, celadon. Maybe I don't like the tea green color, in which case I can click on it physically and manually override that with the hex code I took from here. Okay. Whoops, let's push escape to escape that Chrome extension. So if I come back to color palette, once I've made a change on colors.co, I can toggle the lock. And then if I push spacebar, anything that's not locked will randomly auto-generate a new color. Okay, so I'm just clicking the spacebar. That's what you hear. Once you find a color you'd like to incorporate for your scheme, you lock that in place. And then take note of those colors. Okay, if I want this Naples yellow to show on my site plan, well then I need to get to that on steps 5, 6, and then here, 7. To record those color codes, you have to actually use the siteplan.css file. And siteplan.css here lists those in lines 8 through 11. And if you come down here to color guide, if I wanted to override this secondary E7C24F, I would have to simply highlight those hexadecimal values and override them with the ones I found on ColorCo. Okay? And now you see if I want to override this red with what I found here with this red, ED254E, I could click on this, copy those colors, and then return here to glitch and override what we call accent 1 with the new red that I found. Take note, every hexadecimal is prefaced with a pound or hash symbol, and in CSS we end our declarations with CSS with a semicolon. Okay? So you'll learn more about CSS as we practice it this week and next week. So once you've done your colors, your logos, it's time to now finish up by deciding on a font you'd like to choose. So I invite you to watch this typography video, and here's a few tips. Google has a large list of fonts. Let's go find one, okay? Let's actually go here and show you how to find a font to use. Okay, this is called Google Fonts. You can search for fonts, you can look through the database, and if you find one you'd like to incorporate, all you do is you click on it, and we need to then import that into the glitch HTML file name. So say you want this Bangers font, we could click on that. And what we need to do is we need to somehow grab this font, okay? So let's download the family. Got it. We could download the family, but let's see here. If we download the family, we could open it. Okay? And we could double click on this, and we could physically install the font, okay? That's one way. We can install the font directly, and then we can call on the Bangers regular font to be shown on glitch. There's also a way, though, to physically import this font so that we can use it on glitch. So let's go find out if we can figure that out through the instructions here. Okay, we can actually do that through an import declaration for CSS. So if, for example, if I wanted to use the following two fonts from Google, IMFL French Canon SC, what I do is I'd import this at the top of my CSS declaration. Okay, and we do that here, up here at the top. Now make sure, once you finish the assignment, you need to share your URL properly. So that would be simply targeting this and pushing share. Okay, good.